Okay, so Julius, HK, what have we got?
Okay, we got us as a German manufactured brand of live PA system. Very scaled, very modular, very transportable. There's your mid-high unit, loaded with 4 3.5-inch drivers, 1, 2, 3, 4. The audio goes in via the spigot, if you could call it a spigot.
You can call it anything you like, but a spigot is a good name. Which then mates up with this guy, and this is an EA600 power amp.
It's not a speaker. It's the
It
same
looks
form
like a
factor.
speaker, but it's not. And the idea
and then,
is
we just do this connector.
they bolt together.
Poof, there we go.
Click.
Click.
And so what happens is you feed your audio in to the amplifier module, and this can either run up to 4 of these, or 2 of the subs. There's a passive sub, which we'll get to in a minute, or 2 mid-highs and a sub. And you tell it how many mid-high elements you're running with a little rotary dial on the side. There's a +4, -10 sensitivity switch. And ours came supplied with locking IEC connectors, which is quite cool. I like that. I like that the IEC is not going to fall out.
You told me that was common and that I was, yes. Here you've got an array of 4 top boxes sitting on the amp at the bottom. Okay. In that configuration, the amp's delivering 600 watts up this column. You could run 3, you could run 2, you could run 1
If you want to just run 1, you just stick that in between the amp and the top box.
Can you stick that on the sub?
Yeah, there's a top hat in the top of the sub. You got to flip it up on its side though.
Okay, now with the subs, each sub's loaded with 1 10-inch woofer. Okay, but there's 2 flavors of sub. There's sub with amp, and there's dumb sub with no amp. Okay, dumb sub is passive, meaning that you run an amp signal in either from this guy or from the other sub, and dumb sub goes sub sub sub. Okay, so it's got a passive crossover network in it. The system you're seeing here, you've got 2 powered and 2 not powered subs here, and you've got the 1 amp module down the bottom running the column. So you've got 600 watts there, and you've got 2 lots of 600 watts in the sub stack. So it's 1200 watts of sub. That's a full system.
It's a decent system. It took us a little bit of reading to figure out how to piece it all together, but what are your thoughts on how it sounds?
Okay, sound-wise, we've auditioned it using our standard variety of audio tracks. My audio tracks are terrific. James' audio tracks, I don't know who the artists are. There's lots of unintelligible, weird stuff going on.
There was some dubstep.
Between the two of us, we've listened to quite a number of tracks, maybe 8 tracks on this thing. We've also plugged in a industry reference microphone, otherwise known as an SM58, and spoken to the thing. What we're getting here is good dispersion, 70 degrees in the horizontal, and the vertical's tightly controlled by the fact that it is like a column array.
Yeah, the vertical and the pattern control on this is quite good in the vertical, in the sense that basically where the top of the array ends, so does the sound. And in terms of actual projection, one of the big points that HK make on their website is that you get consistent level across your audience. And from what we've done, from our testing, that certainly the theory seems to hold quite well. Sort of whether you're right in front of the thing or whether you're 5 meters back, whatever, the projection seems quite nice. And I really like how voice sounds on this PA.
Yeah, I would suggest that this is a system for the more vocal kind of act. And I would suggest that it's a music system. It's a PA system for music. The 10-inch sub is really doing it hard when it hits its limit. I mean, inevitably a 10-inch sub is going to do hard yards. And we have run this to its limit, and we've run it past its limit. We've also run it to its limit with just the top boxes to hear what happens. It doesn't get pretty when it gets pushed too hard, but it's saving itself at the same time. Having said that, the SPL is quite acceptable in this configuration.
I think the top boxes have got the subs a bit outgunned.
Possibly.
I think the top boxes really push it out there.
Yeah, I think the thing with this is the scalability, the portability, and the ability, I guess, to perhaps build it up as your audiences build. So, start off with 2 subs and 2 top elements with an amp per side. So start off with half of this, and if you're a musical act, you'll quite happily work 300 people with half of this, I would think. You won't get pile driving bottom end out of the subs, but you'll get a balanced audio. It's lightweight, it's easy to set up. Less cables because all the connectors are in the stack. You only need a speak-on cable to go from amplified sub to dumb sub. That's the only time you need speaker cables. That's a plus.
Yeah, it is a
so
plus.
So it's almost musician-proof in that sense.
Yeah,
if that's possible.
I'm with you on this. It's not for the Metallica tour, but this is gonna fill a hole for a lot of users who want something that's portable, something that's easy to deploy. You can carry this easily. None of it's really heavy. You remember the days of carrying backbreaking
the other thing
67
is,
kilos. None of this weighs a lot.
Even
you can put this in a hatch. You could fit this in my car.
I'm talking. Plastic speaker boxes on stands. If I go to a business event, I don't want to see a plastic speaker on a stand because it looks messy, okay? That, on its own, is fantastic for a corporate event.
It's much kinder on sight lines.
Much kinder on sight lines. If you wanted some subs, you could hide these away. They don't have to be sitting anywhere near here. They can be somewhere.
You can sit them under the stage.
Yeah, so I'd venture to suggest that, like, for corporate audio-visual, that's a good look.
And
yeah? Am I right or am I wrong?
Yeah, absolutely. And especially good is the fact that you don't actually need to fly it.
That's a good point.
You think about a lot of applications like hotels and ballrooms, things like that. Flying line arrays and stuff can be challenging.
Well, nonetheless,
time consuming. This is quick deploy.
A speaker
it's easy
on a stand, a K&M stand, a good stand. Don't buy the cheap stands. A speaker on a good stand. A, it looks messy, and B, there's the OH&S issue of getting the thing up there, and then getting it off at the end, and there you go. Okay, well, I think this is one of the sort of emerging bespoke, tailor-made audio solutions. It's from HK. It's called Elements.
I think it's going to keep a lot of people happy.
See how we go.